Hi there guys, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VII. Now, I know this isn't the most popular Let's Play on my channel. In fact, I have actually surprisingly few number of watchers. Maybe it's because, you know, this is one of those games that everyone has played, and I am only picking up now. But then again, that kind of also didn't really work with, you know, a couple of the other ones. But the important thing is we're fighting these enemies, and they're called Touch Me. They are small frogs. And their name is Touch Me, and they do a little dance. So that's the important thing that we're going to be discussing right now. They actually have a enemy skill called Frog Song, which can turn all of your team into frogs. And if you use it as an enemy spell, it will turn the entire enemies into frogs. If the enemy can be turned into a frog, of course. Now, here's the thing. Frog Song, I don't get it. Even though, oh look, I clearly got it right here. I didn't know that if you run from battle, you straight up lose any enemy skills. You have to win the battle. Because I'm looking at this battle and I'm like, I have Kashyyyth asleep. I have Cloud and Tifa as frogs. You know what? There's sometimes a time when you gotta know. When you're just like, it's probably a good idea to run from this battle, you know? So I do. And I'm like, oh god, everything's going away. So, one thing I do in this Let's Play, now that I'm editing a bit more, I'm taking out as much menuing as I can, mostly because I am a menu lover. In this game, I will spend minutes, like 5-10 minutes at a time, just going through the menus, making sure everyone's optimized, rearranging materia, doing all sorts of crazy stuff. So for your convenience, I take it out, also because there's nothing to talk about during that time. So, but now over here we got some little penguins as well as this giant manticore-like thing. I got to know these guys very well because in between parts, I didn't record it, do not worry, I did a bit of grinding on these guys, mostly for money. And the nice thing is, the big old griffin dudes, they give out phoenix downs, so you kill them and boom, you get a phoenix down. And, like, Phoenix Downs are good, don't get me wrong, but once you start doing enemy skill stuff like I do, it becomes very, very apparent that enemy skills kind of break the game, and you won't really need Phoenix Downs ever again. But where we're going today is the very large town of Cosmo Canyon. I'd call this a town. And in fact, this is probably, like, looking at, like, all the towns I've been in, probably one of the biggest ones, which is very surprising. So we're going to go say hi to Bugenhagen, which sounds like some kind of strange German dessert, but it's not. It's an old man, looks like Rama, but he's not Rama. So are you familiar with the land? No, I am not, because I legitimately was not. But this place here, Cosmo Canyon, it's kind of like an interesting mix of a scientific community and like a very naturalist society. It's actually kind of interesting, like a mix you don't really see, you know? But who is this Nanaki? And Nanaki is Nanaki. Okay, that didn't help, but that's Red 13's real name. Fun fact, you can have fun with this game by naming Red 13 from the get-go Nanaki. So then it will be Nanaki is Nanaki. Nanaki is Nanaki. And that would be very confusing. Unless it's Nanaki or Nakai. I think it's Nanak. I don't know. That might... Because here's the thing. I've never even heard Red 13's voice. I don't know if he has a voice actor. Because, like, yeah, he talks in this game. But in Advent Children, I don't think he talks or is even in it. And, like... I never played Dirge of Cerberus. I have it. I bought it because I'm like, hey, I should get all the Final Fantasy stuff. And I never touched Crisis Core either. So I don't know, you know. But this is Red 13's homeland. We're gonna get Red 13's backstory. Of course, we'll get all this in the remake, which I have totally come to terms with it being an action game. Cause like, here's the thing: when it was announced, I was really sad that it wasn't looking to be a straight-up remake in, like, you know, this gameplay style. And, like, here's the thing. When I heard it was announced, you know, and it wasn't in that style, I was sad because I'm like, oh, man, geez, it's not going to be, to its full potential as a remake. But having actually played this now, and given a good amount of time with the, the active time battle system, the famous one, from, Final Fantasy 4 to 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way up to 9. Having put in so much time with it, with this game, I'm kind of like, okay, I've had it in that style, and I'm totally down to see it as a more actiony approach, so. But, in addition to Red 13's backstory, we get a little bit of Barret backstory, just a bit, talking about how Avalanche was established, because, just letting you know he's not just some crazy eco-terrorist, he's actually a dude who has a reason, It's interesting, though, that, like, the views of Cosmo Canyon aren't the views of the world, if that makes sense, Like, these guys are seen as the crazy hippies, but they're not. They're the ones that are correct, which we'll get to see a little bit later, so. Fun fact about this part. This is my second time recording it, because, for some reason, last time, 6 minutes in, my recording stopped, so, like, I couldn't actually, I recorded the full part, but none of it saved, and that sucked. That really puts a man down. But you know why I came back and why I keep doing this? Because, man, when I recorded it before, it was the day before World of Final Fantasy, and I was excited. And now that it's a day after World of Final Fantasy, I can say, hot damn, World of Final Fantasy is a freaking great game. I won't do a full Let's Play of it. Yet. I did the demo, and, like, it's just the fact that, like, it's a new game, and new RPGs are a big undertaking. So I'm like, I'll wait for that. But I'm really enjoying that game. If you're a Final Fantasy fan, World of Final Fantasy will be your jam. It is like a cheesy E10 amazing romp. But if you're it's worth it in my eyes. Definitely. I'm enjoying it. I put in 3 hours, and I hope to put in more. I'm hope to beat it, because it's great. The first town is a reference to Final Fantasy 1. It's a friggin' great game. Final Fantasy 1. Yeah, and I'm so happy. I actually really want the NES Classic, because it has the original Final Fantasy 1 on there, and I would love to play through Final Fantasy 1 again. So, like, getting that and playing it on the original, a little bit harder, but still sort of similar, will be really fun. What a great game. I feel like a lot of Final Fantasy fans haven't played 1. Should get on that. Like, at least you should play 5. Anything before 5, I can see why you might not want to. You might say, what about 4? No, 5. But, like, definitely playing the first Final Fantasy game will really open your eyes to what the franchise started with, so we have a bit of stuff to do around here. I say is you can, whenever you see me stop or, say, run into a wall, know that I'm looking through my phone at the walkthrough, because I don't want to miss scenes, and that's the big thing. RPGs are full of missable content, and missable content is my least favorite thing in games, because it's like, oh my god, if I do something wrong, I won't ever see this, right? So, my big thing that I'm looking for is scenes and summons. So I've been getting every summon so far, making sure I can get them. If it's something small, like if you do this action, you'll get a small, tiny thing. But, yeah, whatever. But I really don't want to miss anything big, and that's why I do like using the guide. Plus to just save time, more than anything. I'm mostly in this for the story and the experience right now, as opposed to, some other stuff. Now, again, unlike some other games, like the story of Final Fantasy VII, everyone knows the big twists, even though I've actually been avoiding saying them. Unless you're on my Twitter, in which case I spoiled the crap out of it for some memes. So that's fine. I don't know what to feel about Cosmo Canyon's theme. I feel like it's a really good song, but there's something about the very meaty, I mean, it is a meaty, but the very meaty main instrument, I'm actually not a fan of it. Final Fantasy VII has some great songs, but I feel it's really masked by the hardware, so I do look forward to A, any remixes of this song in any of the games, B, remix albums that I'm probably going to go out and download after this, because, man, the soundtrack is really good. It's just I have to, I want to listen to it with proper instruments. And C, the remaster remake soundtrack, because oh my god, man, it's gonna be so good. I love how I'm talking all about the remake, and then like years from now, and someone might watch this and be like, "Oh, you mean the one that sucked?" I don't think it will, but if it does, whatever. It's Final Fantasy. We'll just get another 13. That's right, I don't like 13. I tried, guys, I tried. And some people will stand behind 13 with all their might, to which I say, you're a stronger man than me. Or woman, because Final Fantasy is a pretty equal gender franchise, I feel. I feel like most Japanese ones are. You know, actually, no, screw that. What am I saying? All video games are nowadays. Well, no, I stick by it. Most video games are nowadays. Okay, this little area here sucks, because you have to come towards the camera, and there's no way you'll see it if you're, there's no way you'll see it. And, like, oh my god, look how small Cloud is here. I feel so bad for people with small TVs. Like, back in the day, I don't know how you would have seen that with the not HD graphics, but like the blurry graphics where everything looks kind of like a blurry mess. Final Fantasy VII in particular, I would actually love to see played on a crappy TV. So I feel like it would look so different, you know. Seeing these HD models on these, you know, pre-rendered backgrounds that are very clearly lower quality. It's very interesting. It's very different. I mean, and it's funny because back in the day, it would have been the other way around. It would have been these low-quality models on high-quality background, but nowadays it's the opposite because look how clear the models are versus the backgrounds, because obviously they don't have the source backgrounds anymore to put them in like true HD or anything. I mean, at least as far as I'm aware. I'm sure that they are better, but, you know, they're as best as they can go. So at this materia shop, you can get HP Plus and MP Plus, which are really good materia, because all they are is, if you need slots filled, if you're like, I don't have anything else I really want, you know, I have 10 slots on each of these, and I don't have anything to go on them, just throw in an HP or MP up, and it's like, there you go, you're good to go. They're really nice for just getting you know, room fillers, right? Now, the sad thing, though, is they're very expensive, and at this point, I have not enough money to get it. But that's why I do go out and grind, just to grab a couple. It said in the guide to, like, grab a bunch of each, and I'm like, I don't have the money for that. So instead, I just get a couple each, and I do take them and use them in my playthrough, but that won't be on screen, because, again, that is a very, very long and arduous process of grinding. Thankfully, with the 3 times multiplier, it makes it a lot easier for speed. I stuttered on multiplier there for a sec, because I did just realize there is also a button combo that gives you unlimited MP. Not MP, money. And I just realized that. So the 3 cheat buttons in this game are 3 times speed, no encounters, and God mode. God mode gives you 9,999 HP, MP, full limit, and full money. And so, like, I just realized instead of grinding, I could have just used that. But at the same time, I can't play the whole game like that. So, and as soon as you turn it off, it puts you back to how you were before. So, and here we learn the big plot twist that Red 13, it's actually like a 15 or 16-year-old. He's a teenager doggo. So, that's kind of something. When I learned this, I'm like, I don't know what voice he's gonna have now at all. You know, he's 48 years old, really. But, you know, 15 or 16 in doggo years, so it's like, I don't know. I'd love to see some interpretations of his voice. Now, mind you, the only interpretation I accept is the Machinima abridged version of him, who is the greatest thing ever. But here we're going to learn the sort of really necessary backstory for any real game, and that's the universe backstory. Not just, like, character backstory and stuff, because, like, well, that's important. This is universe backstory, you know, the idea of planet with a capital P, not just planet with a lowercase p, though they do use that occasionally, but planet with a capital P is where they live. Also, it is the same planet that Shinra from Final Fantasy X-2 travels to, or his descendants to, 10,000 years after Final Fantasy X-2. And 10-3, but we don't talk about 10-3. Oh lord, we do not talk about 10-3. That's such a shame. So, we get some mysterious noises coming from the planet. Can you imagine if your superpower was like, you could hear grass screaming whenever someone walked on it? I think about that occasionally. If that was your superpower, you just hear screaming of grass, or plants in general. It's a terrifying thought, really. But as we can see, he has a machine to talk about the world. A big old plot machine. My favorite kind of machine, really. And sadly, we all can't fit in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to pit 3 people to do it. Now, this is a weird sequence, though. I feel like this is very strange. When you go and do it, you just have to find one of your teammates who will be staying in one of the rooms you saw before. So, like, Barrett's right close by, so we're going to go grab him. But then when you do that, you just choose who you want in your party, and you need to get 3. And I don't really get the purpose of all this. Like, it's a weird sequence, because, like, you have to go find Barrett, get the party, go back up, do it. And it's not like there's a fight or anything afterwards. It's just, like, it's very quick. It's like, hey... You know, then I just pick Barrett and Tifa because, like, I don't know who I want in my party. And I don't know why it just doesn't give you, by default, someone. I guess maybe if you really want to choose who you have in this cutscene. But it's not like it makes much difference. I don't know. It's very strange. It's a very strange sequence. Maybe, who knows? Maybe there's some kind of lost thing that I didn't grab here where it's like, oh yeah, if Aerith's here, then instead you'll get some kind of cutscene where she relates to the planet or something. It's like, well, I don't know. So, Final Fantasy VII has some weird things like that, and definitely things like these, like, I would like to see changed in the remake, or just modified, you know, where you can, like, you don't have to worry about character choosing the party and stuff. I don't know. I feel like I kind of do, now that I've played through this, I'm totally down with the remake really changing things up, keeping the same story, but really sort of changing a lot of overall structure things. I don't want a 100% exact remake anymore. I want everything, you know, all the minigames and stuff back, and I want to see everything updated, but I don't want it to be super exact anymore, you know? And again, as soon as the actual game comes out, this will all be outdated. But 3D holographic system. We actually have one of these. It's the Tellus World of Science for us, and you can actually go and... It looks sort of like this, except not really, because it's not 3D at all. It's just a 2D image on a inverted dome, and it doesn't look 3D at all, so... Who knows, though, that might have been Shinra's descendants that we didn't know about. Not the Shinra in this game, no. There's a little kid named Shinra in Final Fantasy X-2. And I haven't played X-2, but all I know is that it's actually a prequel to 7 by like 10,000 years. And that doesn't bother me, honestly. I'm down with that. Because all Final Fantasy games take place in the same multiverse. Because when people ask if the Final Fantasy games are unrelated, I do say yes. Even though there are very clear connections between them when you look at a bigger, broader scope. You know what that bigger, broader scope connection is? Gilgamesh. And a few other things, but yeah. Also, they're all canon to each other, and Dissidia's canon too. But that's a whole other bucket of fish. We're talking about the big story here. The creation myth, if you will. Which, I think all games should have some kind of creation myth to them. Some kind of religious sort of basing. That's not just a Western god. Because, you know, after Breath of Fire 2... kind of tired of that. Breath of Fire 2 is a funny game because it's literally like back when Nintendo the live stream. There's that thing. Back when Nintendo was so worried about games being religious, they let a game come out that you literally killed the Christian god, and don't know how. But yeah, we all know about the live stream now. You know, it's this. Heck, when they announced the remake, you know, all they did was show the live stream above the stage at E3, and everyone freaked the frick out. me included. Although I didn't really know if that was a live stream or if that was just like the Sony wallpaper for the PS3. But judging from people's cheers, I sort of knew. It's iconic with Final Fantasy now, or 7 at least. Didn't they, for the Cloud announcement for Smash Bros, just saying that still gives me tingles on my throat. Didn't they use the live stream too? It's like, it's cool. It's a nice overarching gimmick, you know. I still think about the Cloud. I'll say the Cloud announcement for Smash Bros is by far the hypest moment in gaming for me ever. I mean, Mega Man was one thing, but I did exaggerate my Mega Man. It wasn't entirely fake, but I did exaggerate it. But seeing Cloud was astonishing. And I remember my friend was like, he couldn't watch the announcement for Cloud. He couldn't watch the entire Direct. And like, he's like, don't spoil me, we'll watch it together. And I got to then watch and see who it was after. And I just watched his expression, and it was amazing. That's the best one in my eyes for sure. Even though I like Bayonetta more, even though I like Mega Man more, Cloud's announcement was earth-shattering. So, but I do like the idea of this spirit energy, this life force, because it's actually super similar to a lot of like Native American myths. I don't know if it's the same as Japanese creation myths. That's something I'd probably have to look into. Possibly like pre-Shinto myth stuff, but like I know like the one that this is most very clearly related to is like the Native American views of spirit and stuff. I do think having that in this game is really cool. It really changes it up from the norm. And it's funny because a lot of people think of it as this very unique concept, but as a kid I look at this and I'm like, no, I know what this is. Like, this is a common sort of thing for me, you know? So, it's cool. I like it. And, you know, it's funny because these guys are like, oh, whatever, these guys are a bunch of hippies. It's like, that's what they believe. But that, of course, being a video game, it's true. So, I do like it. It's not a complicated story, and I know a lot of people say Final Fantasy VII is a complicated story, but I think the only complicated part about the plot is regarding the characters of Cloud and Sephiroth, which we'll get to later. I think the basic story and themes and stuff are very basic, you know? And I think that's fine. Not every game needs to subvert the genre. You know, it's like, look what happened to Magical Girl anime after Madoka. Madoka ruined Magical Girl anime. You can't release one now without it being some deep subversive, you know, thing about, oh, they're actually demons or whatever, you know? It's like tried to watch Magical Girl Raising Project. It's another Madoka. And I don't want that. Thankfully, Flip Flappers then came out, and oh my god, guys, if you have Crunchyroll, watch Flip Flappers, it's amazing. Ignore the name. Just go and watch it, trust me. Of course, by that time that I'm telling you this, it might be gone from it, but whatever. So, knowing that this is a big sort of character arc chapter, we won't just have a town section. Oh, no. We'll have a dungeon too, because that's how these go, you know. Every time you got a character story in an RPG or something, it's not just, hey, here's talking. It's like, nah, there's always a dungeon to overcome, and we'll get to that dungeon as soon as I figure out how to navigate this place, because man, it's slightly confusing. Slightly. I do really hope that, and I do believe that for the remake, they're gonna not stick with the basic. Like, it's not going to look like this. It's not going to be the same, like, go up these stairs. I think they're going to totally rework it, you know? And I'm totally cool with that. Oh, but here's another iconic scene, if you will. And it's funny, because, like, I really do believe that Final Fantasy VII is just, from start to, and I mean, I haven't finished it yet, but it still is going for now. It is really just iconic scene to iconic scene to iconic scene, and like this is one that's, I feel, pretty iconic. Sitting around the fire talking to your party members, you know, this hasn't happened yet, and this won't happen as far as I'm aware again. It's really cool, and like really, Final Fantasy VII is one of the few RPGs where I can truly say every minute of it is a scene that's, like, important and memorable, you know? There's no moments where you might look at some footage and be like, where are you during this? It's like, every part of it is super, like I say, structured from this is an iconic area to this is an iconic area. And I could see people disagreeing with me on this. But I really do feel like, mind you, I am using a guide too, so if you get lost, which should definitely be possible, especially once you start getting more vehicles, then it's a little different. But if you just go straight through this game, it is amazing how little, like, just padding there is. Now, mind you, I just got to disc 2. I'm not super far in my actual, like, playthrough time. But I am, as of now, on disc 2. So there's that, in case you're wondering. But yeah, this is kind of cool. You get to just sit and talk with everyone. I don't know if you have to talk to everyone, but I mean, I do, because this is good character building stuff. And, Cloud, about 5 years ago, that thing that's been eating away at me because she's afraid to ask. And this is again where we start to get into about how Cloud is almost an unreliable narrator. It's interesting. It's very interesting. And that's where I said, like, the story of Final Fantasy VII isn't it's basic, but through Cloud and especially Sephiroth, you get a very almost subverted story because he is an unreliable narrator. If you don't know what the unreliable narrator is, you go back to English class, sir. Everything you learn in English class should be part of your everyday world. Because that's English class is the best class. Shut up. But as we can see here, Nanaki, or as we'll call him for the rest of the game, Red 13, because we're not going to address him by his real name, has some father issues. And I guess maybe, he'll have to confront them himself. Because apparently the Gi tribe attacked. Literally, the clothes off Ryu jumped off and attacked the village. God, thinking about how Cloud can fight Ryu in Smash Bros. Will never stop giving me shivers down my spine. I love you, Nintendo. I love you, Smash 4. Actually, honestly, speaking of Smash 4 and how there will totally be a Switch version of it, because that's just how it goes, I'm excited to possibly see Final Fantasy VII Remake on the Switch, because I feel like it would probably be able to play it, meaning we can get a portable Final Fantasy VII Remake, which would be freaking cool. And, I mean, aside from phones, you can even just get this version of Final Fantasy on the Switch, and I'm sure Nintendo fans would eat that up. And it'd be interesting, too, because, like, I think that aside from the mobile port of Final Fantasy VII, which I'm amazed exists, but is this version, but on mobile, along with 7 and 8, which still blows my mind, too, because it's like, or 8 and 9, rather, you can play those on your phone, and that's kind of cool. But I wouldn't. I hate phone games. I'd rather die than play a phone game. What are you talking about, Yokai Watch Wibble Wobbles on my phone? No, shut up, go away. But yes, we have a bit of a trial to get through, which we will as soon as I figure out where the heck to go. Answer. I think I found it. So yeah, we are going to rest the night though, because I am running low on HP. And of course, we are heading into a dungeon. As I said, we have a dungeon, and it's kind of cool that the dungeon is just built right into the town here. It's not something where you have to worry about heading to another area. I do like that when a game's structure is just go to a town, do a town event, do a dungeon in the town, head to the next town. You know, like I do like that as the idea of a game's journey, if you will. So it's good to have, for sure. And actually, the item you get from completing this is an important one, because it's, even though you'll get it, you won't be able to use it for a long time, but it's the first of the level 4, limit break items that you need. But of course, like, I have it, but I can't use it because you have to get up to level 3 first. You have to master level 3 before you can move on to level 4. So it's like, well, even though I have the item to unlock level 4, I can't get it because it's like, I'm not there yet. And I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but I'm not getting many levels. I'm halfway through disc, not halfway, but I'm partway through disc 2, and I'm only getting their, like, their first level 2s for some of them. And I'm getting worried, you know, like, only Cloud is the one who might be getting his level 3 soon, so I don't know. Be interesting to see. But as we head into this dungeon, this is where we end the part, dudes. So next time we'll go through the dungeon, fight the boss, all that good stuff. Thank you all for watching, you of like 20 people, and we'll see you next time for some more Final Fantasy VII. Ciao. You can push yourself to and it be a short night jump with me. You can fly above the rainbow with people just believe. Nothing's gonna stop you and me from getting into every one of while this beat is kicking.